Can you see me off?
Gingy, how many times do I have to tell you to leave Pinocchio's underwear alone? But it's a thong! Hi! Welcome. This must be Clocks Running, the podcast for everything flag football. I'm
Me. What's up, everybody? How's it going? I don't do impersonations, sorry. So, welcome to Clocks Running. I'm Jacob.
And I'm Ant.
Hey, man, I told you we were going to have a special guest tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just letting it go. I was trying not to laugh. I wanted to hear everything you had planned there. So just letting it unfold.
What happened? What's going on? We had a special guest come on and just say, hey, real quick, and just keep it moving.
It's cool. Yeah, we're just gonna keep it moving, I guess. That's what we're gonna do. I guess that's what we're. Hey, so we're back with another episode. We're over here live on Instagram. I see people coming in the chat. Comment, say what's up.
They totally missed out.
Yeah, I think they did. It's okay. They'll get it on the replay. Maybe you have to put it on later on in the show at some point or something. Yeah. I don't know. Is that your Halloween outfit? Is that what you're going with?
So, first of all, you don't have outfits for Halloween. You have costumes.
Oh, my bad. Sorry about that.
What kind of rock you've been living under?
First annual tournament.
We don't do first annual. That's a pet peeve of mine. If you first annual, just it's inaugural. Hey,
okay, sorry.
You ever gonna play in a tournament again?
Yeah, what happened to the players? Is there some
the
like
players played out? Decided
okay.
In.
Wow, that's wild. I don't think you should say playa ever again.
I say playa.
All right, we gotta get into the show, man, and we're gonna go down too many rabbit holes. So
let's do it.
Tonight we have two very special guests out of Southern California. This is gonna be a fun show, so let's bring them on. I want to. Hopefully, I do not mess up Maliyah's name. No. I hope I said that right. But Chris and Maliyah, welcome to the show. Hello.
What's up, everyone?
Hey,
and you
welcome.
did. You said it right.
So okay, good.
You said it.
There we go.
All right, cool. Welcome to the show. Thank you guys for coming. It is bright and sunny in California over there. I see you guys at like 4:30 in the afternoon. So,
yep.
We are
a little bit of heat.
Yeah, we are rainy and cold and dark here on the East Coast right now.
Yep. Yes, we are.
That's tough.
So let's get right into it. With new guests, we like to give you guys the opportunity to kind of share your origin story. So, Maliyah, this is the opportunity where your dad's going to share his glory days and talk about when he used to sling the rock and all that stuff. So give him his shine, and then really after that, the show turns to you. So go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, what's up, everyone? Chris Estrada. So I've been involved in flag, I want to say, since 2006. I've been playing since, I was in college, just trying to stay active and playing, and, just been playing through different leagues throughout Southern California since then. So, going on like 19, 20 years. So body's feeling it now. Haven't played as much as I would like to, and it's really because of her and her team and just being on the field coaching her. So it's been super cool just to see the fact that obviously I've been playing. I'm transitioning to coaching her, being a part of her successes and all that good stuff. So sucks not being on the field playing, but I still get my competitive juices out when I'm coaching her.
Yeah, for sure. So, Maliyah, just to turn to you, when did you start playing? How old were you?
I think I was like 6 when I started playing, and it was just in like rec leagues. And then when I was like
Okay. And so, what is it different competition wise? Aggression, adrenaline, all that. Seeing your dad playing from coaching, or is he kind of the same kind of guy?
I'd say it's kind of the same, like energy.
For sure. So, so, let's talk about this team, SoCal Reign. Chris, you started that team, right?
Yeah, so we started the team back in July of 21. And that was really just to talk about what Malia was saying is she played in rec leagues when she was 6. She was always the only girl on every team that she played on. So Juice and I actually started the team together, and it kind of started like during COVID. Obviously, everything shut down here in California, but we played in a couple tournaments in Texas. I want to say in June of 2020, June, July 2020, and we just kind of saw how it was kind of eye opening how big, like, number one, that everything was still open over there. They were playing tournaments. Um, and just how big flag was, and specifically girls flag, right? Because we had heard of a couple teams like Texas Fury, Bad Rabbits, and all that type of stuff. So when we came back, Malia played out there. She kind of jumped on an all boys team out there, played in that tournament. It was, I forget what USA flag was back then. I think it was like FFWCT or something like that.
Yep.
So we played in that one. It was the Texas Nationals, and we kind of had a discussion that that's what she wanted to do because she had played softball, soccer, and it was like, hey, we're going to focus on flag. And then kind of started having the idea, running it by with Juice, and like, hey, like, let's try and start an all girls team, right? Like, there's not a lot of teams out here, at least we didn't know any out where we are in the Inland Empire. So we started, and it was really just asking friends who had daughters, friends of friends who had daughters, and like, we were an 11U team. We had like 8 9 girls. We had some 8 year olds, 9 year olds on there, so we were getting our butts kicked whenever we were going to tournaments, still playing against the boys. And then gradually we just started to grow, right? The next year it was a 12U team. We got some girls that were talented, that wanted to come try it out. And then we grew to like a 12U and 14U team in 23. And then in 24 it was 12s, 14s, and 17s. And then once it became a CIF sport here in California, like, it just blew up for us. After last year, which was the first year for a lot of girls, we just had so much interest, and our program really started to grow, and we're starting to see that. And we're just really trying to build on that growth year after year. So it's just kind of crazy to see from when we started it 4 years ago, when it was just like begging people to, like, hey, just get your girl, like, get your daughter to try it out, and now, those same people that didn't want to play, like, their daughters are playing in high school. It's like, hey, you should have did it 4 years ago when we talked to you about it.
Mhm.
Yeah, no,
But
absolutely. What when did you see like the transition of you having to play like a bunch of boys teams to being involved in like all girls tournaments or all girls leagues? When did that happen?
it was probably, like, I would say, like, within the first year we started to see it, but it was really like we would go to tournaments, and there would be, like, I think it was our second or third tournament. There was only 2 girls teams. So it was like, all right, you have to play your seeding games against the boys, and then you have a girls championship. And then it started getting to the point where it's like, all right, there's 3 teams in our division. There's 4 teams. So I would say that was still within like the first a year and a half to 2 years, maybe. Then it started growing. You get like these 8 teams in divisions, and now it's crazy, just the amount of teams that are in there. And now it's like we're getting to the point where it's like, hey, now we potentially could have, like, an A division, B division in these tournaments and these leagues, because you have girls that are just so darn competitive. They're so good at this sport. And then, like, you don't want them playing against teams that are just starting, right? Because we were in that position when we started. We were getting 28 0 every time we played, and thankfully our girls stuck with it, right? They stayed the course, and now they're one of the more competitive teams, out there in girls flag. But it's tough, like, when you're starting. So, but it's cool to see all these teams that are just popping up, it seems like, every other day.
Which, hats off to you for being able to keep a team together and keep fighting through that, because I think today, in today's world, I see it in adults and youth, where the resiliency is not there. Everybody wants instant success. They want to win immediately. They want to be able to take the pictures and get the rings and all that stuff, and to be able to stick it out when there's not success immediately. I think that speaks volumes.
Yeah, yeah, and it's been pretty cool to see, because we've had a few girls that, I want to say like 4 or 5 girls that have been with us since the beginning, since we first started. So it's cool to see them because we did get our butts kicked the first few tournaments, and
Sure.
to see them shining in their respective sports, their respective high schools, and then obviously on the travel circuit too, just to get the recognition that they do. It's pretty cool to see, and I'm thankful to be a part of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so Malia, as far as you playing, and I know you were kind of on the younger side of it, and there's times when you've had to play up and all of that. How do you keep your confidence up as a quarterback, and some of these tough losses? What do you do to just kind of keep moving forward? And no, I have goals in mind. How do you do that?
I mean, I think I just do it for my team. Like, just like see just
Ryota. It cut
No,
out
I
there a
didn't hear
little
that.
bit. I was gonna say, I could hear talking about the team a lot. It just kind of faded out. Are you guys
I
gonna
was
repeat?
getting the call. I was on my phone, so the call was coming in. So I
Uh,
think it kind of cut out. But
okay.
yeah, she says she tries to
Yeah,
bring up her. Yeah, she tries to bring up her teammates and just trying to. She knows that you can, if you want to say it again.
I keep the same mindset, like no matter like what situation we're in, and just like keeping up my really.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what's something? Ant sent me some of the highlights. You've got a rocket arm, number one. So, what's kind of a goal? Who's a quarterback that like that you want to kind of not necessarily impersonate, but kind of style your game after? And can't say dad.
Um, I'd say like Peyton Manning.
Okay. All right. Now, why Peyton Manning?
First of all, he played for the Broncos, and
Broncos fan.
Okay. All right. Everybody makes mistakes. It's fine.
Okay, what about a flag player?
a flag player. I don't think there's like a flag player. Like, there's not too much like baseball.
Who's your favorite though?
She's the quarterback for the Mexican national.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I like that. Yeah. We were talking all about Dean was talking all about that last week. How?
Yeah, it was.
Okay. Cool. So let's now talk about kind of switching over from SoCal Reign into high school flag. Now you guys it just so happened that like the timetable worked out for Maliyah because right you're going into high school and it becomes a sport. So Chris, was there a certain consideration on where you wanted her to go to school, or is it just the zoning and that's where she landed?
No, she goes to Western Christian right now, so it's a private school. But when we were looking at high schools, it was number one because I knew like talking with her, she wanted to take it serious. Like she wanted to play in high school. So number one, we wanted to make sure the high school was going to have flag because if not, then it was just kind of a waste of that first semester of school because she wanted to play flag, right? So there was a school, one of the schools she was supposed to go to because it's in our district and they're not really the greatest athletically. So it's like, all right, I know you want to go here because all your friends are going here, but we have a couple options, right? And then all three of the schools that we were considering, I put my hat in the ring to kind of be the head coach because I wanted to continue coaching her, right? So everything worked out. Thankfully, at Western Christian, like they didn't have a flag program, but the athletic director, the principal that were there, they kind of believed in in my vision for the program and thankfully brought me on board. So that's kind of like where Maliyah came in. So I knew once, that came to fruition and, I got the head coaching job, is like, all right, I need my quarterback now too. So it was kind of, if that didn't work out, we kind of she probably would have went to another school. But the fact that I got the head coaching position, it was like, all right, well, we're going to do this together. So that's kind of
That's
how
awesome.
the high school decision came in.
Yeah. So have you had to face any of your like former teammates or guys you used to play against in some of these high school games?
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that's kind of the cool thing about it, right? Because you're not used to being competing against them because we're always, competing against everybody else. So, last year competed again, like we played against Juice, and it happened to be in a championship of a tournament game, right? And then just seeing all the girls locally, like because we played all the schools in the Inland Empire, and our girls are scattered throughout the Inland Empire. So being able to play against them, like it's cool, but then at the same time, you know what they can do on the field. So it's like, man, like I hope they just don't kill us today. And then as it turned out, last week we played against Upland, which is our crosstown rival. But Leah Davis, who's a superstar on our team, like she killed us last week. You know what I mean? Like we couldn't contain her, and it's like, man, like I love the fact that you're balling today, but I wish it wasn't against us. So yeah, so they took us out, but it's cool to see, like they don't get a chance to compete against each other all the time, right? They do in practice, but it's different seeing them, play for their high schools and competing against each other. So yeah, it's kind of cool to see.
Yeah, no, for
So
sure. So, no, go ahead, Jacob.
I was gonna say, do you guys? So I think you still have a couple years left of high school, but are we still seeing? Are we seeing like any like at the next level, like at college? Are we starting to see college coaches, college scouts coming in and checking things out?
Yeah, there's a lot more camps that are coming about as far as like different, colleges out here that are hosting them, where you'll get a lot of the college coaches like come to these different showcases, these camps. But you see them a lot you're starting to see them a lot more at the travel tournaments that we have. So like,
Yeah,
or the big high school tournaments where it's easy, right? Like they don't have to come to just one game because the games are only an hour and a half long, right? And make that trek to see one, two players like okay, what are the big tournaments coming up, whether it's travel or high school, and they can kind of see, the whole talent pool that's out there. But we're definitely seeing a lot more of that in both high school and the travel circuit for sure.
right on.
Malia, do you prefer sevens or fives compared
Um,
to each
yeah, I
other?
prefer fives better because lately, like for high school, this season there was like a really big change of rules, and that like it made the game really different. And like I kind of like going back to fives because it's like kind of like a sense of like normalcy in the game.
Non-contact.
No, I,
Yeah, I
I
mean that.
definitely agree.
Yeah, the whole screen position is always kind of strange to me, and I feel like that limits that player to really like showing, what she's capable of. So I think that's tough to be like get on the high school team, and they're like, yeah, you're just gonna stand here with your hands behind your back, and like that's your job. So, Chris, do you feel like it? Like, do you think that's makes sense to have high school be sevens, or where are you at with that?
I mean, I'm not opposed to like seven. Like I love the rules that they had last year because it was more like a combination of sevens and like non-con. But this year they completely changed it, and I get it because they wanted to have like a uniform rule book for all high schools. This is the format they play in college, but it was just like a complete change. Like we had to change everything that we did on offense, right? Because it was the rush went from 5 yards to 1 yard, right? And then so it was okay. Now we got to teach the center instead of snapping from the side. Now we got to teach her like how to actually long snap because we got to give Malia more time, teach these girls how to block. So it was a lot more like regular football, which I get why they kind of wanted that to resemble as well. But there was definitely some growing pains this year because last year there was a big gap between the high schools that had quarterbacks that, had never played before, right? Like there's a gap between the experienced quarterbacks and the inexperienced. And that just increased the gap this year, right? Because now you have someone coming at you from 1 yard. So if it's a bad snap and the quarterback's looking for the ball, by the time they get it, that rusher's right there in their face. So it just completely changed the game. But you just gotta adjust.
Yeah, growing pains wise, for sure. When you're just getting a new sport like that, is there a rule that like you absolutely are like this doesn't make any sense as far as flag football goes, or
Um, I think just the way each ref interpreted the blocking. right? Because
Mm.
depending on the ref crew that you got, like they had different explanations for the blocking, so it wasn't really like a uniform answer no matter where you went, right? So I think that was the biggest thing is just the blocking, because it was supposed to be hands down or behind your back. You have to stay within the frame, and then you're playing some teams where they're full on extending their arms, and the refs aren't calling anything, and it's like they're just running through my girls and hitting them, and you're not calling anything. So that was probably the biggest, and it wasn't really like that's the rule, it is what it is, but it was just like the interpretation of it, like depending on which crew you got and where you went to go play.
Gotcha. So now transitioning back into fives, I saw you guys post something. You guys got tryouts. What does that look like? You're gonna have three different age divisions this year, or how does that look?
Yeah, so we're gonna have three age groups. So we have 12s, 14s, and 17U. And we had a couple tryouts in the summer. But from what we experienced last year, like after the high school season, you just have an influx of girls that want to continue playing, right? So it could have been, they maybe they made varsity, they didn't get the reps that they wanted, so they want to get some extra work in, right? Or you have girls that, they played it, this is their senior year, they want to play in college, so they want to get more reps, they want to get more film for these coaches, right? So there's girls from every different side of the spectrum, and whatever their goals are, that's what we're trying to do. So we're having another tryout since majority of the girls are done with playoffs. Just to capture some of those girls that may have missed it in the summer and may not have been thinking about playing flag on the travel circuit, and just giving them those opportunities. So, but we have those three age groups.
Nice. So Malia, how is it now having former and current teammates that played internationally in Asia this past weekend?
It's pretty cool that like they got to do that and like they got to play in like a different country against like other countries. Like that's I think it's really cool.
Yeah, do you have aspirations for yourself, like as far as the national team goes?
Yeah, I mean I think I want to do something like that. Like internationally, like for flag football.
Um, Um, and so also, Chris, as far as you go, like now you're a head coach at a high school. Your playing days aren't happening as much. You're coaching a traveling team. What other goals do you have as far as flag football?
Um, I do want to get out there a little bit more, and play, because I feel like I'm just getting more and more out of shape the longer I don't play. So that's definitely a short term goal, is to play on Sundays. Um, but I mean, right now that we're transitioning to travel, and just that's going to go from November through July. So just trying to get these girls back into the familiarity of playing in fives, right? Because they're all coming from different coaching, different schools, and all that type of stuff. So we got to get them back on our program, get used to playing fives again, and then just seeing what we can do on the travel circuit, right? Like we gotta. I think we had some great success last year. With our 14, with all levels, but 14U and 17U specifically, we qualified for the NFL Flag Championships. Our girls got into the TV bracket, so they played on ESPN. Um, so that's always our goal when it comes to travel, is to get to the NFL Flag Championships, and then obviously compete, and then just kind of go from there. So that's our aspiration when it comes to that. Um, I'm going to be coaching high school at least the next 2 years, because I don't want to do anything, move on to anything else, and miss out the opportunity to coach her through her, junior and senior year. So I'll be in the high school game for at least the next 2 years for sure.
Gotcha. So Malia, I just want to ask you this as far as like all the different games you played in and different, travel and high school. What has been the like most exciting game you've been a part of?
Um, I think the most exciting game I've been a part of is this season. Like,
Yeah, walk off touchdown.
Nice.
That's awesome.
There you
That's
go.
a
And Chris, For you, what's the biggest game you've been a part of, either playing or coaching?
That one's up there. I would say one of the biggest ones that we've been a part of. I want to say, like, even though it wasn't a win, like just being out there last year in Ohio and like the girls getting into the TV bracket playing against Athena, like it wasn't the result that we wanted, but just the fact that like we were one of the top 16 teams in the country that made it to that event and just giving the girls that exposure. Um, I feel that was the biggest thing, right? Because it's like going back to when we first like when Malia first started or when we started the team, like that wasn't even a thought in our minds, like in my mind at least, like this is what girls flag can become, and just being able to being out there with the girls and giving them those opportunities, like that's the whole purpose of us, starting the team and getting involved in girls flag and just to kind of see it come to fruition. Obviously, we wish it was a different result, but I feel like that was one of the coolest games that I've been a part of.
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate you guys coming on and just speaking
Absolutely.
about all of this stuff going on in the Inland Empire. Chris, on a personal level, I've witnessed firsthand like all that you've done for the growth of flag football, not only for your daughter, but a lot of other people's daughters. My daughter played on your team for a little bit as well, and
Hmm.
and then I also got to speak on the fact that like my team and your team and after COVID we had some really good battles, and
Yeah.
I miss the program. Like I want to see that team come back and travel. I think that you guys had kind of the similar thing of what Ronin's doing, and so hopefully you do get one more run, maybe a Peyton Manning kind of right off into the sunset kind of
Yeah.
kind of
There you go.
situation. Yeah, we appreciate you joining us tonight and sharing your guys' stories.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you guys. Yeah, like those
Absolutely.
those battles those battles were fun during COVID in Vegas and when we play at Colorado State in that stadium.
Yeah,
So
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
those are some good times during COVID.
for sure. Yes, sir. All right. Well, y'all have a good rest of your evening.
All right, thank you.
See you
Have a
guys.
good one.
There we go, man. Just a little taste of the action going on in Southern California.
Just a taste.
Just a taste, just a little bit.
Just a taste.
So no, so it's crazy because that's that program. There was like four players from that team that were on the American Samoan team, and
Oh really?
all yeah. So like they're all still either 17, 18. To be able to compete internationally. So it's kind of crazy that all unfolded like that. And speaking of that, there was a big tournament in China this past weekend.
Yep. You stayed up
Um,
for the entire thing.
that was, there was exciting games going
Okay.
on, both men's and
Okay.
women's. Did you catch any
No.
highlights? Was there anything?
No. No. It was way too late.
It was,
It was way.
I
It was
mean,
bedtime, brother.
there's okay, all right, fair enough. It
No, I
it,
did.
it
I
was a
did
lot of
see.
fun.
I did see a
Yeah,
couple of the highlights from it. It looked like it was a pretty good time. It looked like Joe showed out. Looked like our guy Adam showed out. Um, looks like they had a pretty good tournament over there.
yeah, no, I do think that there were some of those outlier teams, just like we saw in Europe, where like brand new to it, India, Kuwait, kind of just starting to get into flag football as far as it goes, and then they got to face these powerhouses of Japan and now this new powerhouse of China that this is their first year internationally, and they've already for women's they won. For men's they finished fourth place.
But
But
let's not get it twisted. My dog Pat Alley's over there taking care of business. Like he's getting things done very quickly.
so he wasn't as present in the women's sideline as I think he helped them with the World Games and then maybe kind of handed that off. He was coaching the men's game. And yeah, he was taking care of business until he met my guys from the American Samoa team who pulled off the upset in some people's eyes.
Huh. Is that what you guys the night owls? Is that what you guys are calling it?
I just
The all
no,
night
that
crew?
game was on at like 7 a.m, bro. It wasn't even a night owl thing. Like
What do
that
you
was
mean? Hey,
that.
that's because you guys stayed up all night and then got to that game.
No, I could
No.
tell. No, for sure, absolutely. I do think that I do think that Pat, like you could tell that the offense is being run for the China team. Like it's so reminiscent of what you see out of a Texas team. Like those are those are his playbooks for
He
sure.
knows what he's doing.
So yeah, no, absolutely. But it was that Samoa and China game for the bronze for the final spot for Dusseldorf. It
Dusseldorf.
came, it was back and forth. It really looked like Samoa was like pulling away, and then Pat like called a timeout, and he like spoke a bunch of magic, and like they got fired up. They got an interception. They like they were just I don't know. They were re-energized. They came back, and they just kind of ran out of time. But
Yeah.
so now now this is what's weird because I've heard two different things. I don't know if you've heard anything. So I've heard that the top six from Dusseldorf that's the Olympic six.
Okay.
And then I've also heard that like the top three from Dusseldorf will make it in. And then the Continentals the following year will help determine who the other ones are. Now we already know the U.S. will be in the Olympics because they're the host country.
Right. So it's the next 5 at that point.
Exactly.
Huh.
So yeah, so it's kind of, like, how do you feel about that? Like, okay, so Dusseldorf's the world championship for IFAF. Do you feel like those, like, essentially 5 countries should make it there, or do you like should that even matter because it's 2 years away? What are your thoughts?
Here's the tough thing. Here's the tough thing. You had a qualifying event, so not everybody will be in Dusseldorf. Isn't that how you say it?
Dusseldorf.
What would Shrek
There's
say?
there's like the two
Yeah,
apostrophes
the
above the
dots.
U.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've already got. If you go back in previous episodes, and for those of you guys just tuning in tonight, my thought was you have each continental winner makes it, and then you have what was it? What did I say? An at large.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because there's 4 continentals, and then the at large, because Asia and Oceania combine. So I think it's a tough sell, but I think that's. I mean, at this point, here's the crazy thing. We're going from 2026, and you're going to say, okay, now you have to your bid, the top 5 from there make it, and then they have to sit for a year, and then they play again, and then they go to the Olympics. And then the crazy thing is the World Championships are in 2028. That's not a part of the Olympics. That's after the Olympics. So I was talking to a good pal of mine. I won't name drop because asked me not to. But that was brought up
This friend of
about
yours.
this friend of mine. We'll just call him Shrek for now. This friend of mine was telling me that you have to think about it. If they turn around after the Olympics and go to the World Championships, if you have NFL players on that roster, you're probably only going to be able to cap out at 6 of them because you're going to need all the reserves then to go back onto the active roster so those NFL players can go play their NFL games. After the Olympics, they don't care what happens.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be real. So how does that happen? How does that work? You're going to say the USA is going to sit out from a world championship? That's Bologna in Dusseldorf.
Yeah, that's no. I mean, there's a lot of stuff to factor in, and like in a lot of ways, we're just like in the dark because this is all brand new that's unfolding. Now, I also
Speak for
heard
yourself,
that
my lights are on.
Oh, okay, fair enough. I got a lamp right here. If that
Oh,
if that means
lamp
anything.
time, lamp time, lamp time. Okay,
You got too many Blues Clues references, bro. I feel
that's the
like
first one.
no. A couple weeks ago, you were saying something about Notebook, or I don't know what you were saying,
But
but
you
something.
got them. I respect
So
this.
I also heard that Oceania is going to get their own tournament. If not,
Cool.
yeah. So I think that they realized that more countries are going to get brought in, and there's so many time zones that the Asia Oceania covers that it just kind of makes sense to split that. So if
Yeah, I
that's the
agree.
case, then you're looking at 5 continentals, and then essentially like the host country gets it.
Yep.
So that,
I
I
don't.
mean, that makes it kind of easier for the six, right?
I mean, I guess. Kind of dumb. I still say you just have one massive tournament and let them all play it out for that at-large spot. I also still, full
Wow.
disclosure, still really don't understand this bracket with Asia Oceania because
Yeah,
it was weird, right? They split and then they combined, and then they split and then they combined. That doesn't make
yeah.
sense.
So really strange. So for the men's, I think there were four groups that were from Asia, and then
Okay.
there was one from Oceania, and everybody in the Asia group got they got 4 games, so they played everybody in their pool, and then the Oceania played each team twice.
What?
Yeah, so because there was only 3. There was Australia, New Zealand, and Samoa. So they each played each other twice. Australia like beat everybody, so they got so then they moved on to the right away. They were in the gold medal game.
Wait a minute. What?
Yes, so
That's
they were in the
stupid.
gold medal game,
That's dumb.
and then
You have all those teams
the
and you just bypass it. No, that's dumb.
here how what Asia had to do. They had 8 qualify, and then they had a quarterfinals, a
But they had
semifinals.
12, right?
No, so they had so I think it would have been 20 teams because they had 5 teams in each one for the
That's so
men's.
dumb. Okay.
So then so then 8 made it into the playoffs. They had quarterfinals, semifinals. So for this and then they had a championship for Asia, which ended up being Japan, China.
China, right. Knew that one.
Yeah,
So then
and
how do you factor in the
so
other teams?
so so then all of those got shifted into placements, and and so, but so did the other so did the Oceania teams. So Samoa, because they went 1-1 in Oceania, they got an automatic spot in the bronze medal game. And then the loser of China and Japan went into the bronze medal game.
What?
So that so so that so the loser of the Asia Championship went to the
Yeah.
bronze medal game, and the winner went to the gold medal game. So it was Australia against Japan for the men's, and then it was China Samoa for the
What
gold or
happened
for
to
the
New
bronze.
Zealand?
New Zealand got into some placement game, like fifth. I think for fifth. I think they got fifth place, and
See, okay.
they went 0-4.
Well, I mean, okay, so they're garbage. Um,
So,
okay, so all right, so let's shift here just a hair because of how
okay.
this happened. How do you feel about teams not getting a chance to fight it out in the bracket and automatically
Yeah,
getting just put in a spot.
Yeah, so that I mean, it's almost like it's not even as okay. So you know what we've seen before with like the backyard tournaments where everybody's pool play together, and then
Right.
based on records, like all the losers go to a B division and the winners go to an A division. And we've seen that, but
Right.
everybody's
Or
battling
they
for.
pay for it. They pay for that split.
Yeah, so then, but this isn't even that because
Right.
literally two like well essentially the three Oceania teams, it didn't matter what they did, they were going to get placed in a game, but
Right.
all the other teams had to play to get into those games.
I want to know what moron thought of this. I'm sorry. I don't try to be rude, but that is so dumb. Like, I get they're not from the same continent, and I get that Oceania doesn't have enough teams maybe to have their own tournament. But how are you going to take it's 23 teams essentially, right?
Yeah, I think
How
so.
are you going
Yeah.
to take 23 teams and say, okay, you three, here's how it's going to work. Here's the deal. The top team out of the bracket or pool play is going to go to the gold medal game. You're just going to sit for a few days. The second place is going to go to the bronze medal game. You didn't get to earn anything. You just went straight to that game. That's garbage.
Yeah, because
That's
they played
tough,
New
man. I
Zealand,
don't like that at
they
all.
played New Zealand twice, they played Samoa twice, and then they were in.
That's baloney.
Like
Not a fan. 0 out of 5 stars. Would not recommend.
and like
That's
and like
bad,
and
man.
no offense to these teams, but Australia
No,
blew those
no,
teams
right,
out. I mean,
right.
those 4 games were easy wins for them. So where like literally Japan and China were in the same pool.
Right, that's another wild. I mean, I get like they probably. I'm assuming it was a random draw
Random,
for that, and
yeah,
that's fine. You get the luck of the draw. You can't complain about that. That's random, but you have 20 other teams on another side. Mix them in. Let them earn it.
yeah.
If you're gonna cut it, that should have been a 23 in pool play, and then play it out in bracket. Give it one big bracket. And let them play it out. They do all the seeding games of the World Championships. Why not there? I want to know who the brainiac was who figured that out. And when we figure
I
that
think
out, I just have some questions. He probably says
I
first
think that
annual as well.
yeah, I see that everywhere, man. It's
It
not just
drives
me.
me
I
nuts.
see.
There's a ton of people who it's awesome for somebody to get stuff lifted off the ground. I see it a ton of different, and I see it all the time. But people say first annual, and it drives me insane. You can't have a
You know
first
what it
annual
is?
because you haven't had the first one yet.
You know what it is though? It's because people can't spell inaugural.
It is a tough word. It's a
That's
mouthful. Pause.
yeah. I think that's what it comes down to. It's
Or maybe they just don't read
like
it. Maybe they
that to
think
me. That makes sense.
inauguration is talking about the president. I don't do impressions.
so
So
so I just think that maybe the goal behind it or the whatever the reasoning behind it is to ensure that Oceania was represented in Dusseldorf because basically that's Australia was guaranteed a spot. They won their pool and they were in.
okay, so here's how I feel they should have done it then. This is what they should have
Yeah,
done. You give it
I
to the
want to hear it.
highest you give it to the highest seeded team. If you want representation and you want that guaranteed spot, do like they do
Yeah,
with I've been a part of tournaments, and this was way back in the day when you didn't have enough A and B teams to play, right? So we would say, okay, we're gonna do an open bracket. You sign up for A or B, you're gonna play. The team in B that makes it the furthest is the B winner. That I mean, it's right, wrong, indifferent. You're still playing games. You're still getting because they played what? Australia played what? 5 games.
uh, yeah,
It's a
yep.
long way to travel for 5 games. It's a long way to
Yeah,
travel.
well, and I think about because I correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the last time they had this continental, uh, Thailand won in the men's.
Oh, really?
I think so, and
I don't
so
know.
um they didn't do bad in pool play, but they didn't even get a chance at the medal games.
See, it's let them play. Let them
So
play it out. Let the teams decide. Don't make it so
yeah, so you give
predetermined that I don't like that, man. Hot
yeah, it's
take.
hot take, yeah,
Hot take. Jay
yeah,
doesn't
and
like it.
well, and so, but clearly it wasn't something that was uniform because, I mean, we talked about it in the European tournament. There
Yeah.
was 3 or 4 countries that weren't really Europe. Well, what if they had put them in a pool and they had done the same thing with that? Like,
Yep.
and then you would have ended up
Well,
with Georgia earning an automatic spot, and then they would have gone to the gold medal game and got blown out by Italy.
bananas. Absolute
Like,
bananas. So
or
so
you take it to
here would be my thought then. Because I still struggle with how they signed up or how they were in the Euro games and not in Asia. Do you think they had a like how far in advance do you think this had to be they had to be signed up for these continentals?
I don't know because Israel's been a part of the
Whoa, name
Europeans
dropping
for.
now. All right, here we go.
I did. They're not part of Europe.
No,
It's
it's not.
not
I
part of.
agree. Like it's there were several that signed up. Like, and I agree. Like they should play within. Like I think IFAF should probably come back and restructure that a little bit. Just
Yeah,
from a competitive standpoint, like don't or like from a geographical standpoint, don't have people who aren't in that continent playing. That'd be like the USA going and playing in the Asia Oceania. Now granted
yeah,
they all went and loaded
no,
up on
for sure.
America Samoa. That'd be fun,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, I mean, you wonder if the speed and growth of the game is just too much for IFAF to keep up to, and so they kind of had this grand plan of this is how we're going to do things, and then the last 5-10 years things have just exploded, and they're
right.
like, okay, now well we got to make a decision because initially the World Championships that were in Finland, they didn't have a cap on how many teams went. So I think it was Cameroon was there, and that was their first international trip.
Cool, awesome. Put them on the bracket.
Yeah, and they were there. They played in the pool play, and I think they played in the 16-17 game or whatever. They were
Right. And that's
they
fine. If that's what they earn, let them play in that. That's
yeah,
perfectly fine. What's up, Dell? But if that's all they earn, let them do that. Let them earn if they get, in the open bracket and they're like the 18th seed, let's say all of a sudden they flip a switch and become total dogs, let them have their chance to fight. That'd
yeah,
be like us taking the world championships and saying, okay, 1 versus 64. If the 1 seed's going to go automatically to the championship, 64 gets to play in the fifth placement game. That's not right. I don't like that.
yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, I think that I I also think that they're just doing too many pool play games. They're doing 3 or 4 pool play games. That there was after day one, there was a handful of teams that they were like, oh, they've already qualified for the placement games, and they hadn't even played all their pool play games.
Oh, because of record.
Yeah, and so it was
Huh?
okay, so then these other games don't even matter in that. So if they went down to 2 pool play games for each, and then turn it into a winners and losers bracket. I
So
don't
okay,
know.
well, fun counter to that would be take USA flag. We do 2
Yeah,
pool play games and we go straight to single elimination, right?
yeah,
You can forfeit your pool play games and go straight into the bracket. So ultimately those pool play games, they're good for placement. They're good to play. Like, I don't get me wrong. I am a fan of playing your pool play games, figure things out, get a taste of what the other teams are looking like, and figure out what's going on within your tournament. And then try to go win it. But it's a tough sell for me to have so much weight on your pool play games that you don't even get to play in a bracket. You just go straight to placement games.
Yeah, especially because it's a random draw. Like you don't even have a choice in who you're
Right.
playing in those.
90% of that tournament was random draw. You got was it the same on the women's side?
Yeah, they just had less. I think they only had 2 or 3 for the Asia,
Okay.
and then the Oceania had 1, and that's why Australia, the women's, they got right into the gold medal. That game, that's what's crazy is so everybody beat each other in the first day. Australia beat New Zealand beat Australia. Australia beat Samoa. Samoa beat New Zealand. So after day one, they there was not a clear cut. Whereas in like the Asia bracket, they already had people that were like, oh yeah, they're on to the next the placement games or whatever. So then it's starting to look the same way. The night game or the final game of that second day, it was New Zealand and Australia back and forth. It was an amazing game. Literally, like last minute of the game, Australia pulls off this touchdown, and that touchdown put them in the gold medal game. One score because they had already beaten Samoa. All they had to do was beat New Zealand. So that was the difference. And then New Zealand got dropped down to I don't even know what. I think that maybe they went into the 5th place game, which I don't know where New Zealand landed after that.
See, I don't like that. I don't like that.
But yeah, so then Australia was guaranteed a spot again in Dusseldorf, no matter how they played against China. Now they fared pretty good because that was a good gold medal game as well.
And good on them for being there and competing with what they were given. I just don't like that setup.
Because you think about it, put this into the Americas. So the situation that happened with the women's in Panama because Canada beat Mexico. So because of that happening, like Mexico probably wouldn't even had a chance to make the gold medal match.
You would have been crushed.
I would have been crushed, and then but then it would have been like then it would have been like El Salvador against Canada for the gold medal game or something like that.
Whoa.
Well, we know how we know what happened.
Relax.
Okay? We know what happened.
Let's relax. All right, let's just I think carrying that big beard around is starting to really weigh you down. Okay. That beard has grown a lot in the last little bit.
It has? Well, yeah, I got a little bit.
Yeah, you're starting to look like a lumber. Yeah, do that to the top. Never mind. I'm gonna stop.
Hey, we don't all have a front mullet, bro, like you. Did you?
What?
I see. Huh?
What'd you say? You said.
Did you? No, that Saturday Night Live skit that I think I sent it to you with the guys talking about snacks. They all had your haircut.
Oh man! So the girl that cuts my hair, she called it the fuckboy haircut. So she called that. I told her, I said, never call it that again, or I'm done.
Oh, I hate to say it. I hate to say it, bro, but it's kind.
They have to have somebody to follow, and I understand. I can be their leader. Me,
it's a brain rot kind of haircut.
It's fine. Me and Shrek, we got it.
Okay, well, I guess that's enough ragging on the Asias and how they messed up their little tournament. It was a lot of fun to watch. It's cool to see American players. I feel like I've talked about this as far as like seeing American players play in these tournaments in Thailand and China over the last 18 months or so, and then all of a sudden here they are, like they were playing for the Philippines. They were, we had Tutu coaching the Thailand women's team.
Was it?
American
Nice.
Samoa had probably 10 American players. So there was a lot of there was a presence. We got Pat Alley. Can't forget Pat. He was coaching the China team.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think about that as far as that goes? Is this um, it doesn't seem that hard. It seems like all you got to do is get a passport in that country. So, is this the beginning of like every country across the globe, or do you think there's going to be some gatekeeping going on as far as some of these countries? Like they're not going to let American players come in.
I think it's going to be a mixed bag, right? They're going to be selective with who they let in. I think to what you said. I think there's going to be some gatekeeping. They're gonna pay attention to who they allow, who they don't allow. I think it's a little bit more than just getting a passport. You've got to have descent from that country, and it's got to be direct descent. So, and you got to be able to prove it. So, I think you're going to see some of the ones who do have the heritage and the lineage to go. They're going to do it. I think it's great. Go for it. Why not? It's a huge opportunity.
Yeah,
But I think you're going to see. Tutu was coaching Indonesia's women's team.
I saw that. Yeah.
I was going to say you're not right. You were wrong. Wrong. I don't do impressions.
Hey,
But what?
no, go ahead.
What? No, go ahead. What? You started. You yelled.
No, just I was gonna say, but Ice is on a national team already. I was like, he's played in some other countries. What if
He has, but
he goes and plays?
he's already on the national team.
Yeah,
I don't see a lot of. I see some players trying, and I see some places it not being worthwhile for them to allow it or for players to go there. Like we've talked about, it's only going to be 5 other countries outside the U.S. that make it. So those teams that are the real contenders, they're not looking for that. They're looking to bolster within and really kind of like firm up, what they already have.
yeah. And ultimately, like this is the goofiest part of it all is like we don't know how the whole Canada, U.S., Mexico, how that's gonna land in those 6 spots, but truly, those are the 3 teams that continue to compete on both men's and women's side. Like they're going to be top 5. Like we just know that. And then yeah, we've got like the European countries, like whether it's Italy or Austria, Great Britain, like those are top contenders. And now we've got kind of Japan, China, Australia. So we kind of know where like maybe we have like 8 or 9 teams that we think, okay, these are the teams that have a legitimate chance.
No,
And so how much are they going to really want to change if they have a legitimate chance?
sure.
Because they've got chemistry, they've already plus like then you throw in the mix of like these NFL players, whether they're international or trying to play for the US, they're not going to be going to all the camps. They're not going to be going to, all these extra workouts. I mean, the Great Britain women's team, they came to America over the summer and played in 2 random tournaments in New England, so like,
Mm-hmm.
but an NFL player is not going to do that. Like,
Right.
so like,
right. I do see I see 4 or 5 of them being on the team. And I see 4 like once things kind of settle out, or at least trying to get on the team. Because ultimately, like my friend said, the World Championships are right after the Olympics, so they're gonna have to be. You have to have people to replace if those guys are not able to play.
yeah.
Once I think the realization of that all clicks with all the big leagues involved, you'll see some realizations from it. But I still think like you kind of hit the nail on the head too, talking about it's going to be the top 5 teams. I don't think they would pull from the Continentals. Continentals don't. The only weight they carry is going into the World Championships. They're going to want to pull from the World Championships. They're not going to want to pull from a qualifier.
Yeah.
They're going to want to pull from a legit tournament. That's the way I see it.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, and I just I don't know. I also wonder like what's the regulations of this because just what we've seen is like okay, you make the national team in whatever it is, March or April, and then you're on that team for the entire year. But like that's not really how like that's not how basketball does it as far as the national teams. Like NBA players come and go. Like they barely play and then there's a whole other team that plays in their place.
They still do it similar to this though. They still do it
But
annually. They renew those annual those. It may be we probably don't see what the tryout is for them, but
yeah.
it's a select. They do a selection because they're pulling just NBA players. It's not a
Yeah, but you know when they're not like when they have a championship or a tournament, you know, prior to the NBA players aren't playing in that. It's somebody else.
no. They've got the FIBA player. They've got players that like low level NBA or college players that play annually. They're also playing off season time. They're not playing in season. And FIBA lines up more with the Olympics because it's an established sport. IFAF
I got you.
they map their stuff out, you know, probably 10, 15 years in advance. And yeah, so they by the way, we're not going to change our stuff. We're just going to keep it all the same. Hope it works. I mean, they'll probably have a placement game for that too, so
Yeah, you know,
so
and the
tough.
other thing though, this is the other thing I heard, which is wild to me, is that the decision has to be made about renewing flag football prior to 2028.
Nice. Okay, I'm with it. So probably next year.
So
And to be honest with you, think about it. Think about all the hype they've got around it right now. Maybe
yeah,
you know, I'm hearing from it from people who would never talk about football or flag football or anything like that. They're talking about it now. So if they're talking about it, that means it's getting some attention, and it's in a positive way. I don't see them getting rid of it.
yeah, no, I don't think so either. I think I don't know. You know, Dean was crazy to say it's going to be a bust.
Hey, you let them on the
That
show.
was wild.
Just saying, you brought them on.
Hey, but you know, speaking of that, I just want to bring it up. Can anybody challenge you when it comes to debates? Like, I
No,
wanna, I wanna see if anybody can come on this show. And because, hey, I lined up Petty Pat, and
he forgot about it apparently.
he showed up and he fell, and that was a landslide victory. I mean, he didn't stand a chance. Now, Dean at least put up a fight because people on the chat loved him.
Here's the difference between Pat and Dean, and it's timing. Number one, Pat and I debated when we had 6 followers. Now we have
okay.
12, and they all wanted to agree with Dean even when Dean was dead wrong. And for the record, like let's just say this: we give the debaters the opportunity; they choose how they want to argue. I just argue against whatever they say. They say up, I say down. So it doesn't mean my
Okay.
personal beliefs. I just play devil's advocate. That's for all the viewers at
Yeah.
home. I know Ant could care less. He just gets a kick out of me yelling at people. So
especially wearing sunglasses and 3 or 4 buttons open. Like that's wild.
dude,
I
I hit
didn't
hammer
expect
every
that
night
at
out.
all.
That's right. Oh
No,
man.
I mean, yeah. So that was a lot of fun last week. You know, again, I appreciate Chris and Maliyah coming on,
Absolutely.
representing SoCal Reign and and all that's going on in Southern California. And shout out to like, I just want to say this in general. I just think I'm starting to see a lot of people of my generation of flag football players they are truly giving back to the flag football world, coaching now high school girls because it's everywhere. It's crazy that there's still not states that have sanctioned it, but all the states that have sanctioned it, like there are former players, people I went against, people I played flag with or ref with, and all of that are now like, no, this, hey, sorry, I'm not traveling right now because, or I'm not playing anymore because they are sacrificing their time and energy into building up, girls high school flag football, the next generation. There's so many coaches, but I mean, Jack is a coach at a school. Like Chris said, Juice, Chucky Lozano, who is like a legend in Southern California. He's coaching. There's a lot of coaches out there that were former players, and I appreciate that. I think it's amazing because there's also on the flip side of it, there's a lot of people that are just like they're still slinging the rock. All they want to do is play because they want to fill up their trophy case at home, and but that doesn't help the game at all. And so, sorry,
You know,
but
funny enough, a lot of times I used to say like, oh, when players are done, they come and officiate, and that's what makes better officials. And I still believe that, but you're seeing where people have that kind of that crossroad now. They don't have just two choices. They have actually a third now where they can go and coach and be, high schools and colleges are hiring everybody right now to be a part of programs, and it's a great thing.
yeah, no, for sure. And speaking of officiating and all that, anything crazy, exciting going on in your world, Jacob, as far as
So,
officiating or
what,
anything?
me next week? So Jordan Baker and I are going. We got a high school game next week that we were just called locally to start doing some high school girls flag. So we're gonna knock that out. We're getting into November. We got nationals coming up, Turkey Bowls coming up, and then just kind of gearing up for Worlds. Man, I'm pretty damn excited for Worlds.
Yeah. Anything you want to share? Anything?
No.
Okay. All right.
Nah, actually, I will say this, and this is I don't like to count my chickens before before the eggs hatch. That's a good little Southernism there for you, Ant.
Yeah, I've heard it. Yeah.
Well, okay, but right now, at the World Championships, we have 19 different countries signed up to officiate. People coming from all parts of the world. I think it's five or six of the seven of the continents. Like we've got people from all over the world coming for this. Super
Any
exciting.
penguins?
No penguins,
Oh,
not
okay.
yet.
Sorry.
Zebras. It's okay. Well, now I'm disappointed. So
Well, I just wanted to.
I am really excited. Like, and the more the word gets out, and the more interest people have in traveling and wanting to come and work with us and officiate, the conversations I've had over the last few months have just been amazing. So I'm really looking forward to it. Really excited. Just can't wait.
Yeah, no, for sure. And this weekend, me and my daughter will be present in the Ohio States going on. We'll be down in Columbus, and so
Nice.
Katura will be refing, and I'll be behind the camera. I'll be going live. On the field. I imagine there's going to be some fun contact. People say I've heard Ohio's like that's a rec competition, but just what I
Oh,
heard,
well,
I don't
you're gonna
know.
find out.
Yeah, I'm gonna find out. I'm gonna see what it's all about. So let's see if hopefully there's some of those Goodfellas, SMYTDs, those kind of teams. Hopefully they're there, and I can see some. What do they call it? Good scratch. What is it? What's the term? Wreck. Good wreck. I couldn't think of the term.
Man.
Anyway, so
Good
that's what's going on
scratch.
with
We got some
us.
good scratch, guys. Good scratch in Ohio. In the Columbus area, they have good scratch.
Oh
I feel
man.
like that's a
Well,
derogatory term.
what?
I don't know. It's tell me where they can find us, Ant.
Yeah, well, first and foremost, we got to talk about our merch store.
Yeah, hit me.
Okay,
Let me get out of the way. Go ahead.
there's
Follow you.
we got so many products now on there. Check them out. There's shorts and pants, joggers, jackets, hoodies, sports bra. If you want a Clocks Running sports bra, you can get that. Bucket hat, beanies, all kinds of stuff. And the cool thing about this merch store is it ships right to your house. It's very simple. You go on, you order what you want, and it shows up pretty quick. It's a quick turnaround. So in the past, it's kind of we're slow moving as far as that goes because we have
Still
to,
slow moving.
Yeah. But this store
I'm
is a
gonna
little
get the
faster.
tariffs taken care of. Okay, Clocks Running. I don't do impersonation. Sorry.
But let me tell you where you can find us. We've been live on Instagram all night. We've had lots of people in the chat. Appreciate everyone there. We're on Facebook Live. We're on YouTube Live. Our show lands on YouTube. Ultimately, that's where you can find us in person, looking at my big beard and the brain rot haircut of Jacob's. Um, and so it's not a phase. And then we're on Facebook Live as well. Ultimately, our mothership is Instagram. That's where all of our clips and everything goes, and that's where, hey, like I said, we just hit 6,000. We're almost to 6,100 followers. Like we're just continuing to grow and continuing to prove to everybody that we are the number one undisputed flag football podcast in the world.
In the world, the whole wide world. Clocks Running. It's us. Dean, tell me about where your costume is. Why don't you go put your dress back on, bro?
What? Oh,
Sorry.
what? I don't have a dress. I don't even have a costume for Halloween this year.
Whoa, man.
But
Well, I didn't realize you're such a
yeah, but
Scrooge.
I know. No, that's Christmas, bro.
Same thing. Tomato, potato. Same
Anyway, so ultimately, also our podcast is available anywhere you listen to podcasts: Spotify, Apple, Pandora, Doozer, things like that. You can find us on TikTok and Twitch and Snapchat, and those are all extensions of Instagram. Please like, subscribe, follow, check out our merch store, support your friends, right? Instead of spending millions of dollars for a Louis Vuitton bag that it doesn't, help anybody out, support your friends first. Come on,
Yeah.
and get this. Where is it? Get this ugly mug on something. What?
He's right there. He's right there.
Yeah, right there, right there. So, all right, go ahead, close this out, Jacob. You want to put your Shrek mask on?
No. What do you
Okay,
mean
sorry.
put my Shrek mask on? Why would I do that? That's ridiculous.
But to close out the show, that's all we got. Clock's been running. Clocks ran out. Good night, everybody. Appreciate you guys. We'll see you next week.